Hello again, viewers, and I am here, Pastor Forbes, from JAAMA FM, shaping minds, transforming lives with radio and television, otherwise known as Radio Vision. I enjoyed myself with Ms. Narcisse Marina, and I was really educated in what she said, and that's part of what we want to do. It's one of many things that this Radio Vision online station would be doing, and we hope that whenever the embargo is lifted up, we'll be able to apply and be considered for terrestrial frequency on the FM band, so people can just listen to us in their cars, etc. One of my desires is to be able to bring different people, Gambian, non-Gambian, across any kind of spectrum of metrics, to share their story. I'm not doing any journalistic thing, so nobody should grade me as a journalist. I am not, but I am able to talk and chat with people. I have somebody here with me this evening who is really, really precious to me. I repeat, really, really precious to me. Somebody who has helped me in what I'm doing, somebody who believes in what I'm doing. A Gambian man who I have found very selfless, and maybe, in my opinion, to a fault, very selfless. Anything I remember asking him, advice, wisdom, counsel, equipment, training personnel, it's just like, take it. And we have so become close to each other that we have a title for one another. And when I say it, some of you will know. He calls me my Christian imam, I call him my Muslim pastor, or the other way around. And that's how we do it. And ladies and gentlemen, when COVID came and places had to shut down and we couldn't gather, certainly in churches, etc., Mr. Harona Drammeh, CEO, MD of Mediamatic, Paradise Radio FM, Paradise Television, doing so many things. And by the way, he set up this JAAMA FM for us. Himself and his team coming here selflessly set this up. And I'll never forget one Saturday, he said, before 4 o'clock you'll be on air. I was in my office and he sent me a link and I was hearing music play. It wasn't my kind of music. I said, boy, change quickly. I am Pastor Forbes. But he did all that, and he brought his people, he brought the equipment, and he did it. And I know for a fact that Mr. Harona Drammeh has helped a lot of other institutions set up radio stations. I have two things in my mind now. And remember, I told you I'm not a journalist, so let me talk the way I want to talk. I was on a family boat cruise and I met a lady. And she said her name was Sister Njai, and she'd done, I've forgotten that popular program on GRTS. Wasa, and I didn't really know who she was. And then, and I was watching, this is interesting. We are just trying to start this thing, and here's this lady. So I scrolled through my cell phone and I said, look at this. I was like, wow, is this in the Gambia? Beautiful. I said, yes. Then I said, Haruna. She said, of course, it had to be him. Then I met somebody else, and I spoke to her, and I showed her this thing. She said, Harona Drammeh's hand must be in here. And that's what I mean by the selflessness of this man. So I have him seated here, and I've told him it's going to be fun to have somebody who interviews people to be interviewed. And I know I'm going to fail at it. It's fine. I have him lined up. I have been scratching at the doors of Fatu Camara. I've been scratching at the doors of West Coast Radio, PG, and just to chat with them. Because, they ask people questions all the time. Have people asked them their story? Have people asked them how they go about it? And it's a pleasure to have you here, Haruna. First of all, I want to go on record on behalf of Abiding Word Ministries, on behalf of Angela and Jelan, my pastors, everybody, Jerejef. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
People think this is great. The on-air lights where you everything, and you've come and inspected. I like this, I like that, I like that. Thank you so much. So, I know I met your mom in Sukuta. I went to the family compound some time ago. Haruna, where is this selflessness from? Because I know it's not only my story, those two ladies I met, and many other people. If I now take a detour on Lend a Hand Society, and I go here and I go there, I'll hear your name severally. and everybody speaks about you. Why?
I don't know. Thank you for having me first. We're very uncomfortable being asked because we are always used to being
asking the question.
The persons.
Well, good, yeah, I'm going for Guinness Book of Records.
So generally, we're very uncomfortable being on the spot, which is where you're putting me today. For me, I'm not sure the degree of my selflessness, really. I mean, this is for people like you and others that I associate and affiliate with to say. But I'll say I've been very fortunate enough growing up. I grew up in 5 different homes.
Wow.
And that, a lot of homes had opened up for me, even though all 5 were family, but they were not obligated to have me.
That's right.
So growing up and having people open their homes to me, sharing the little that they had, and some didn't have much, others had a lot, because I grew up in one instance not having anything and worrying about the next meal. Wow. I grew up in houses where there was abundance. So I'm lucky that I've experienced both growing up.
There's a verse in the Bible that says, I have learned to abase and abound. You can do both.
Yes, and that's why I'm in the middle. I always find myself in the middle. One part of me says, remember who you are, where you're from, and be grounded because. The other part is privileged, and that part always wants to be the other. And I try to find the balance to be on the fence, to have me remind myself very constantly to say, remember when you didn't have. I tell my children to this day that I've walked bare feet at one point, and they, yeah, we don't believe. I said, yes, but that's also one reason why I have shoes. And a lot of it now.
And you know, you've said something, you know, I'm not doing journalistically.
Yes.
One evening on this road, it had not yet been done.
Yes.
You had this Renault Megane that some crazy guy bashed.
Yes.
And I happened to have come there. And if it was my car, me, Pastor Forbes, okay, I can't say on TV.
Yes.
I would have told him, Gasal Mangeyo. But you were calm, Haruna. You know, we've been riding together for years.
Yes, yes.
And I've observed you close and you were calm that day.
Yeah.
And I thought, especially the guy, I think his brake failed or something.
Yes.
And I thought, does he know this car? Why are you like that also? You are easygoing. Why?
The story about that car, I had it less than a week, really. And then there was this welding guy who was on one side of the road next to traffic light, and he was driving somebody's vehicle from that side to the other side. And part of the vehicle was covered in paper with the glasses.
I remember.
And he was risking it, speeding at that. And one of the things that my mom had taught me very early on in my life is that when trouble heads your way, it probably comes to things that you own and have, and that's better than it being yourself.
Because you can have them again.
Yes. Wow. If it's your money and if it's hard work, you can always have them. But if it's you, your person, there's very little you can do if you would die, for example, if something terrible would happen to you. So I had that car less than a week. Immediately it happened, and being me, it wasn't only you, it was so many people, so I have to kind of get really quickly. And then if you remember the timing it happened, it's almost 5 o'clock. So it's a lot of traffic coming from Banjul, and everybody was going home. And then the guy was like, this is not even my car. I'm from Senegal. I don't even have an ID card. If you go take me to the police, I'll be in trouble. And the whole story started to fall out. And he said, I'm already in trouble. I have to fix this other car. And here is yours. I lost the car. I never drove it again from that day. I had to sell it for scrap and then start again. That's the story of that car. Wow. But so in situations like that, I'm more grateful to being alive and nothing having happened to me. Because the way he was driving from that side, he hit my side of the car. But luckily, it was around the engine end and not the driver directly. So it was badly damaged, but Praise to God.
You are seated here.
I'm here. And I have another car.
Oh, yes. And
I may not have had another life.
yeah. Every time there's going to be some big program in the country, I'm almost certain I know who the MC is going to be. More often than not, it's you. I remember there was something we had at Sadauda Karaba, and I was there on the high table. Something tough did, if I remember. There was something, we were all there, and
the tough conference, I think.
the last one. And the president of the ECOWAS had come, Dr.
Ture.
Yeah, and the minister was there. And you did masterfully. Tell us about your research, because people think MCing is just talking, shouting. I saw you do the one for Dr. Sajatal, and I can go down the Rhine, the state, Solfrazers, Lakeview. When you get this invitation, just walk us through what happens.
One of the things that I value is preparation.
Yes.
For many years now, almost 20 to 25 years since I started emceeing. And when I talk about emceeing, I have to always thank Aziz Wilan. Many years ago, almost 30 years ago now, less than 30 years, it was Aziz Wilan who first had me MC a program at a stadium.
Stadium?
By accident.
Okay.
He came in, and Aziz is incredible professional. When he has an event, he would invest 3, 4, 5 days in preparation. He'll want to be sure, even the flower vase, where it's supposed to be stationed. So he was so tired and exhausted by the time that this program was all put together, he lost his voice.
Oh, no.
And just tired and exhausted. He came to the microphone, he said, I saw Harona Drammeh here, where are you? Come, I need you right now. I saw you backstage some time ago, come. I came, he said, I can't do this, not today.
Wow.
Here, pointers, this. I said, well, bro, I'm not, he said, I've seen you on the radio, I know what you can do, please save me.
Aziz Jirejef.
That day, I wasn't ready, I really wasn't, and it is still not my best performance. But what it had done for me was to create this new person in me that was courageous, that didn't look at the number of people that were around, who was on a mission and was focused on achieving that mission. Because here is a person I respected. He had come from the UK at the time. He was phenomenal with events. Aziz was the man. And he trusted me. And I'm like a whole stadium filled with people.
Yeah.
All this man could think about is that kid. Let him come and do this. And at that point, I felt untouchable. I felt that some angels were just around my wings and they were allowing me fly.
Your time had come to rise.
And I told myself, this is it. I must take this moment and just elevate from this point onwards. And I remembered when that was done, he gave me so much money at the time. I don't remember how much money it was, but I was so excited that I did it and saved the moment. And then I told myself, from this day onwards, I should always be prepared. I should always be in a position to deliver. I should be able to be a person who is well-researched, very knowledgeable, and equipped, so I could rise up to occasions like this even when I'm not prepared for it.
In the Forbes Academy, we call it BP, BWP, BVWP. Be prepared, be well prepared, be very well prepared. And then we have another one called DD. Always make sure you do your due diligence.
Yes.
You can't go there and mess up.
Yes.
And I tell them you seldom have a second chance and opportunity to make a first impression.
It's not possible.
Harona, so let's come to setting up of radio stations. Again, I am trying to know this man because I'm sure you've set up radio stations that probably look nicer than yours. I don't feel Anyan in you. I don't even feel religious prejudice in you? Is it just the homes that you grew up in, or is there something else?
I'll tell you, I sat to the common entrance and failed.
Wow.
I went to my mom, I said, you know, I am not going to make it to St. Augustine's. She said, why? I said, because I did not have the mark. It was 250 that year, and I was a couple of marks shy of it. Then my mom said, well, you can go to Sukuta Secondary School. Those days, you know, the technical secondary school.
Yes.
And I remember crying the whole night.
Oh boy.
I came back, I told her, I'm going to do this again. What I hate in my life is to be a failure. If it takes another year for me to redo this, perfect it and do it better, I'm willing to take the year. And from then onwards, Pastor, I don't take no for an answer.
I like that.
What brings me to technical, I never was meant to be. The way our profession is designed, a presenter most likely will be a presenter forever. A news reporter will most likely be a news reporter forever. But then I always was curious and driven by knowledge to want to know. And from that primary 6 onwards, I told myself, my peers were a whole year ahead of me. That I will never fail myself again to be put in such a situation that people I'm supposed to be at par with would know more, can do more, can be better, or can lead in anywhere where I feel I'm short. And you would find that to this day, Queen will tell you, every other day I will lock myself for 2 hours and 3 hours. You can knock my door all you want. I'm not opening. I'm researching. I'm reading. I've made it a habit. I've made it a lifestyle. And I tell...
So are we going to be seeing Dr. Harona Drammeh?
There's nothing stopping me from being anything, really. So the technical part, first, I was fascinated when I went to JRTS. 1995, December, early 1996. First time I saw TV lights, first time I saw TV cameras. And then I was fascinated by editing. How Pastor Forbes can say, Aman. And then I could take that out and make him look better.
I'm telling you.
I told myself, why not?
Wow.
So we had Ibrahim Asanya, you know JRTS as much as I do.
I know.
And Esa, Rodin Rana.
Yes.
Actually, Rodin Rana was...
the whole shebang.
No, but Rodin Rana was one of the first to understand the manual editing system. Usainu Bitei.
Yes.
Modu Sanyang, who
Oh my
became
gosh.
DG later.
Oh my gosh.
And they were so... They had it to their chest with this. I mean, this was new knowledge, right? And then they introduced the Avid.
Yes.
Now editing on computers.
I know that.
Then Esa Jallo and Ibrahim Asanyang, told Ibrahim Asanyang,
He became
went to
DG
England.
too.
Yeah, he became DG.
Yeah.
Went to England, came back. Oh my God, this Macintosh, Apple computers they were editing was like a miracle. Name tags were coming, with color text, and
Transitions flying in and there.
yeah. And that I told myself, I am not going to remain a news reporter.
That's right.
I would have to do more. So I started learning editing, started learning lighting. And I'm among the first people in this country to have an editing computer built specifically for me with Adobe Premiere.
6.0, 6.5.
No, 5.0. 5.0 is where we began.
Wow.
With Adobe, with the Metrox system and manually inputting it. Then the curiosity began. In 2008, 2009, we got Paradise FM license. One of the most embarrassing moments of my life happened there. We had a transmitter. I tried in country, nobody couldn't work this transmitter for Paradise FM at the time. We were off air. I called, made several attempts. A couple of technicians came, they couldn't work it. And then I had a contact from Senegal. They sent me some guy who was working for Sud FM Senegal. And I called him He said, déplacement 100,000. I mean, send me 100,000 CFA for me to leave Dakar and come to your Banjul. When I come, I will charge you my service fee.
Oh my God. To open it and to look at it.
Yes. And Pastor Forbes, the guy came almost 7 p.m. Got into my office. It's less than 10 minutes. My radio was on air. This guy charged me so much money. I told myself, nobody would do this to me.
That's right. Never again.
Yeah. And I paid this guy money. I insisted for the man to sleep. The man said, there's no need to sleep in Banjul. You came, you asked me, the job is done. It's here. I said, no, I'm giving you all this money. At least guarantee that this works for 12 hours. Sleep. I paid hotel, stuff. He slept. He came the next morning. He said, let's work. And meanwhile, a particular technician in Gambia told me,
it will never work.
This will never work.
It's crap.
Yes. From then onwards also, I told myself, radio is my business. I'm going to understand this. I'm going to learn this. I'm going to not suffer this again.
And we benefited from that because you remember we were dealing with a company in Italy and we were thinking of how we will drive the equipment to the UK because UK had left through Brexit,
yes.
So they did not qualify for all those things. And then I don't know how I thought, let me call Harona. And literally everything we wanted was in your store.
Yes.
Just down the road here.
Yes. Because what also happens is in the early years, and the broadcasters from Peter and everybody else will tell you, sometimes it's little pieces of stuff you need. It takes a week to come to Banjul. Yeah. It's, so sometimes I keep for my own spare and for use purposes. Yeah. But the idea of being this, I hate that for something very minor, setting up a transmitter, why do I need an expert external to come in my country to do that? I'm very patriotic, and sometimes I feel insulted as a Gambian that we lack so much that we have to depend on others for. It feels a certain type of way. I'm sorry. I'm Gambian.
I know that feeling, man.
Yes.
It's like.
So that really pushed me for radio, but also I'm a radio person.
Now, Harona, we are online here.
Yes.
Internet radio is all around the world. I was telling people that when all the African airlines start using in-flight internet, you should be able to listen to us. Is radio about to die?
I say no. It's quite interesting. But then I like your introduction. You said radio vision.
Yes, sir.
What the technology world is doing for us now is telling everybody, brace and remember, the constant now is change. And that's where we are. The life as we know it may change, but the things we are used to will get better as we grow with them. So for me, there's disruption everywhere, every sector. It's not just media. The disruption in the media space is also as a result of us being agile, being very active, and in fact proactive and innovative in the process. And that's what JAAMA FM is doing now, to say, okay, we have a radio station, why don't we bring cameras in? Why don't we make it more interesting for our audience? As long as there's interest, the public will embrace it. We need to always remember that this little device we hold in our hands and go everywhere with them must be able to serve us.
That's right.
1,000 things at once.
That's right.
That's why it has become a lot more accessible.
That's right.
It's a part of our life. Right. I tell people there are two things I do last before I go to sleep. Put my phone down and my glasses off. First thing I do in the morning, my glasses up, my phone up. Because my phone is my newspaper, is my radio station, is my television station, is my bank, is my lawyer, is even my chat GPT now. So you tell me things I don't understand, I'm going looking for it and finding the answers. Integrate radio into it. And the new radio that is emerging, we did a short study on behalf of the National Health Insurance Scheme around the Mansa Conco area. And you will be amazed at what WhatsApp is doing in the middle belt of this country.
The people that seem not to have bytes, megabytes, petabytes, whatever they call it.
Forget all that.
Really?
100% illiterate, who cannot even read. They will tell me the news on Radio Gambia and how somebody cuts it into WhatsApp messages and share in these groups. Wow. How Coffee Time with Peter Gomez is available. How anything, a president says a statement, somebody finds a way of cutting 5 minutes of it and putting it in these groups. That's the radio to me.
That's right.
So the use of radio can only grow. Now perhaps these interviews will now also be cut into smaller chunks for Twitter, for Instagram, for TikTok, for Facebook. That's the radio. But you're repurposing it so it's accessible.
So it's going nowhere.
It is not going to go anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere. But the Internet of Things will make radio louder and maybe change. I worry more for newspapers than I do for radio.
Yes, I agree with you. Because I get them in the morning. I standard, what is Paradise saying?
Yes.
The news and was Coffee Time saying, one or two other papers, and I'm done.
Yeah.
Now, you did something that was a first, another of your many firsts. Almost like a debate of sorts of presidential aspirants, and it was really great. Do you have times when people tell you, by Ali, this can be hot? Or indeed, I remember one particular one when there was exchanges between two quite vocal political aspirants, and you watched it all and you managed it all. I, for one, would like to see it, and the little we could do as TFA, we came on board to support global property surveys, etc. Are we going to see another one, or are we going to have to wait till late 2025?
Well, with the politics, if you travel, you see the gaps in Gambia. And for me, for most times, I want to provoke things. I believe we are running life as a relay. I believe us, at this point, I am really one of the pioneers of modern broadcast in Gambia. And I'm aging as well. Are we preparing?
Excuse me?
Well, after 3 decades of doing the same thing,
All right.
really.
All right, he qualifies.
I now have my children who want to do it, and others.
Yes.
Now, what do we want in the level of maturity in our media space? So some of us will have to begin stuff that others will have to continue. The political debates was part of that. If you watch really, I've done special interviews in the local languages with almost every political leader in the country. In their language, or in the language of the electorate. My belief is that in the National Assembly, we should be talking in Wolof and Mandinka. That's still my belief. Even though I'm told our constitution
that's the
says...
larger electorate you are representing.
Who does campaign in English in Gambia? Who? Who? Have you been to any political rally where they spoke English? I haven't seen any. And I've covered almost every election since 1996. Since 1996. I've covered elections. And I've been around the country multiple times. In the most remote part of the country, I have not been to any campaign rally, not one, where everybody spoke English. Not one. So if you come to me to convince me to be my representative, you talk to me in a language I understand. When you go there, you speak in my name, in a language I don't understand. In my name.
That's right.
I need to know that the business that I've assigned you as my elected National Assembly member, you are doing that business there, and I want to hear it myself. I don't want it interpreted to me. I want to hear you make your point in the assembly, in the language you convince me in. So I'm convinced that, yes, you are doing the job that I've asked you to do. So when you come back for the election, I can put you to task. Yes, you have, and I agree, and we will re-elect you, for example. So I do these things to provoke some of my ideas and put them into the space. Our young people in the media can grab these things and take it further and develop it into more. The Commission on Political Debates had done wonderfully well. I had in fact collaborated with them several times to do this, because it is not me, the person. I see the industry. Can we be mature? Can we have Usainu Dabo and Adama Barrow sit down at one table and discuss the business of my country in a non-confrontational manner, in an intellectual manner, and convince us who has the better program? This is possible. This is not a miracle. These are mature people. We have seen lately at the sauna, the two of them laughing and smiling together. Politics aside, they all mean the best for the country.
That was a helpful picture.
Well, after everything that had happened prior to the picture, it was quite helpful.
A very helpful picture. So, Harona, where do you see... All right, let me take this back. I know you for standards. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, he forced me to buy this camera, get this kind of light, do that. Even these TV cameras here, you know, sometimes you want to stretch the money. I don't know. We can buy second hand and get 6. And he said to me, Pastor Forbes, buy this, because when your destiny program, and I thought, hello. He says, when your church convention comes, you are not going to rent. So I know you for standards. I know you for excellence. I don't know you for cheap. I've seen you throw things away. Is that replicated in the places you help, or is it a money thing for them?
When you say places you help, what do you mean? Qualify.
The stations you help set up, and so let me change it. Of course, I'm not going to divulge how much this whole thing cost. But if maybe we said, I don't know, what you are telling us we need, and this is cost price, this is not Harona's markup. And I said, no, we can only do 50% of this, and we want the quality. Would you walk away from such a project?
I was talking to an architect this morning. It's interesting you're asking this, and he, in his invoice to me, he said service fee this, design this, 3D this, 2D this, and we had the conversation. And I told him that I do walk away from businesses. I have a standard.
That's right.
Okay, and I have not had a salary in more than 20 years. And because I don't have a salary, I have a standard. And my standard is A, B, C, D. Now, hosting events, you talked about it earlier. Maybe I should not put the figure out there, but I have a figure.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the program is 15 minutes or it's 30 minutes. That's my figure.
It's value that you're bringing, yeah.
And for me, I'm prepared for that occasion. It is my business to know every Gambian. To this day, if I see a Gambian that I don't know, I kick myself, especially a Gambian I should know. It can be a Gambian who's lived outside the country for 20 years, but if they're doing well where they are, it is my business to know that person. Same as it is my business to know every business in my country across all industries.
Wow.
If I don't know the business, then the business must not have done well. But if the business is doing well, if you tell me an industry, I should be able to count at least 3 or 4 operators who are the leads in that industry, and I should be able to know their history. What's the ownership structure? What are they doing? Where are they? You know, are they international? Are they local? Who are their clientele? I do this. So it's very, very rare that I'll have a conversation with a person in Gambia about any subject that I have no idea about. So that's my preparation. For me, mentally, I put myself around that space. Do I walk away from jobs? A lot of times. A lot of times. JAAMA FM for me is not about abiding word. It's not about Pastor Forbes. Who did this job? I tell my people all the time, people can say a lot of things about you, the person, but don't let them say you're unprofessional. Don't let them say you are unethical.
Yeah.
Don't fine.
Don't cut corners.
No problem. Hamad Bopam, fine. Those things will come.
But you can't fight the quality of his outfit.
Yes. a person comes in here and say, wow, oh, JAAMA FM, you guys have done well, the first thing that will come out of your mouth is
Harona Drammeh.
and that,
And happily and boastfully.
and that is a potential 5 to 10 new clientele coming to me.
That's true.
Why are they coming to me? Standard, quality, impression of what they've seen. So if I cut those corners at that point, it will be who did this cheap station. Actually, there are two that are after you, and they are better than you right now, even though they're Republican. So,
That's cool. At least I'm in the good league, the better league.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
But we are really grateful for what you did, and you know.
And I do recommendations in the media space. People come to me and say, oh, we want you to host this. And oh, but you're so expensive. I'll give you a referral. You know Andy Kema, this is his number. You know Ronald Senghor, this is his number.
Fatma,
You know,
the other lady.
you know Fanta Cisse,
Fanta.
this is her number.
Call them.
You know, yeah, and it's fine. For me, it's do 3 jobs a year that are bespoke jobs, that are brilliant, than do 100 and nobody can identify you within the 100 jobs.
Yeah.
And I do walk away from jobs, and I have my standards.
So, when you listen to, and now this is me and you, this is me and my friend, please. When you listen to radio, television in the Gambia, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel about it? The output, presentation, enunciation, diction, dress code, body language, gait, poise, posture, research. How do you feel? Because it's your space, it's your industry.
3, 4 out of 10
Wow.
is that low. Even my own lane. Let me start with Paradise FM. Standards are very low in our industry. We can do better, far better. I will not even give a good 5 if we are talking about across the spectrum.
And this is radio and television.
Yes. The reason is because the dictatorship had really affected media. That a lot of us went to the music and entertainment side. Now, when it comes to critical journalism work, which had to entail now research, investigations, quality, standards, it's quite low. Now, when I train people, I tell them, today, right now on radio in Gambia, Peter Gomez is my benchmark.
Oh, yeah.
My assignment is listen to him, especially coffee time. His pronunciations, his enunciations, his agility, his ability to dribble with the English language, his charisma on air, his confidence, his esteem.
He's a master of the
For
craft.
today, he's radio for Gambia.
That's right.
To me. And really, wherever I do training, I say, Peter is your man. Listen to him. That's also because we don't have as many Peters in the space, in practice, that are doing it as consistently as he does. I mean, I've listened to Peter going to school. I listen to Peter now. I see the consistency. But I also see a man who's well-read, well-researched, who is extremely professional to what he does.
Got no corners.
Can we have 100 Peter Gomez's in Gambia today? The answer is absolutely no.
Why not?
Because that takes time and hard work. And most of our young people are refusing to put in that work. And that's the problem. If you give a microphone to a young person today, they say, Harona Drammeh, woof, the ego is out of the roof. And for you, you have arrived. I am the best.
And they call them renowned, by the way.
And the biggest problem in Gambia is everybody blows your head, especially family and friends. Go there, hey, Gambia, baby, you have to move. Man, you look like they diglu. So, but we're in transition. Let me say this.
I'm glad to hear that.
And I like that. Now I see a lot of people going to the School of Digital Media and Journalism at the University of the Gambia.
Majak or something.
People
like
are going to Majak. People are going to, what's this other one? Inside Training Center.
Okay, okay.
There are places that people go to now, and I see, not only in journalism, Pastor, Gambians are now becoming hungry for university degrees. And I love that. It's not about being elitist anymore. It's everybody wants that degree.
Well, we are seeing them come for public speaking too. And it's very transformational.
So, give it another few years. These 3, 4 could be an 8 and a 9. I see it. But one of the proud moments, I see Muloshi. On DW, I see that girl every time. I'm like, whoa, man.
Yeah,
look at us.
Yeah.
The only person we had for the longest time was Peter Gomez on DW, if you remembered him. Deutsche Welle, he was there.
Yes.
And then Esau Williams on the BBC. Who else? I mean, am I missing something?
It's about maybe those two.
But the kids are doing it now faster. Muloshi is there. Our guy is in Senegal. Somebody, I mean, these kids are picking up and they're doing better than we have. And this is what we want for the industry.
That's right.
Those standards. You know how many times I watch international media, I see a Sierra Leonean, I'm like, it could have been a Gambian. I see a South African.
Why not us?
I'm Gambian. I mean, for me, everything should be about Gambia.
That's true.
And you see Kenyans all over the place, Tanzanians, Uganda, I mean, why not us? Zimbabwe. I mean, why not us? But for now, it's fresh that you see these 20-something-year-olds doing magic. It's amazing. So it is not all gloom. I think there's going to be, really huge growth.
Yeah.
And now, even the government itself, these information officers that are happening, people are hiring PR agents now, branding people, communication specialists. So we are seeing growth in the media space that's expanding beyond just broadcast, because most of them are coming from radio and television and newspapers.
Question that I
I
will have, and just so that I don't sound like Mr. Killjoy.
Yeah.
What would you say to them that they need to watch out for so they don't drop the ball?
Be prepared.
Be well prepared.
Be very well prepared.
And do your due diligence. Yeah, because...
And preparation is being aware. And I tell people, sometimes it is not about reading history. It's about being current.
Yeah.
What is happening around the world, around you? And then do a deep dive. If there is a Palestine and Israeli issue happening now, what happened? What's the genesis? Where did this begin from?
Lock yourself in your office for 3 hours.
Research.
And research.
Research. I mean, it didn't happen today. When did it happen? How did it happen? How did these people become so huge enemies? What is the history behind this? Sometimes basic questions. And the best teacher today is Mr. Google.
Yeah. Somebody said to me 2 weeks ago that the internet is now the new university and your data is your school fees.
Yes.
And I've not forgotten that.
I will remember it too.
He said your data, your megabytes is your school. You can research and know anything.
Tubab anyarut. Ni ko ñul modé de xam-xam.
Bury it under the table.
But anything they know, they share it. They would have written or spoken about it. You look, you'll find it. Again, young people have to choose between TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, and real world knowledge. Or find a balance. Be serious for 30 minutes, play for another 30 if you want, come back to serious for 30.
That's right.
But don't spend 5 hours TikToking and Snapchatting and enjoying other people and creating wealth
For them. While you remain poor.
Yes. Because your eyeballs are targeted with a dollar tag. All the videos you watch over time is earning somebody
They're
money.
monetizing for somebody.
Yes. You're amused, you're entertained, you're not educated, you're not making money. In fact, your school fees in the data that you bought is being spent.
And your creativity is being killed slowly.
Yes.
Wow. Great chat we're having here, myself and Mr. Harona Drammeh, CEO, Mediamatic. Harona does everything. Harona, let me ask you. So, you're patriotic, you're nationalistic, you love Gambia. Haruna, if there was an offer on the table, North Korea is opening up to the world. So they want an onslaught of media blitz. And they literally headhunt you for $2 million a year.
That sounds a lot of money. Yes.
And your country is rising up with all that you are saying. And I tell you, I know a lot of people that look up to you. You know that. What would you do? And please don't tell me you do it remotely.
I'll share something with you. I have no documents anywhere in the world today but Gambia. I've never had a residency in any country in the world but the Gambia. I still travel on visa.
Wow.
When I could have had passports if I wanted to. One of the things I told myself many years ago is to be grounded to Gambia and then be able to go and come. I love traveling, don't get me wrong.
Let me put it in my way for you. Live local, think global.
Yes, that's exactly me. I want to be able to go places, do things, but I want to be able to come home.
To your wife's Benachin.
Yes. I travel for work, I travel for
Yeah.
other things.
Yeah,
And
I'm told you literally leave from the airport and go straight to the office sometimes.
Yes, but I don't really envy anyone's travel history, to be honest. I've traveled really around the world. I've seen it, I've done it, I've enjoyed it, I've felt it. But I'm grounded in Gambia because it's us who can change this country. It has been hard. I've tried to relocate to Kenya.
I remember
It didn't really work the way I planned it out, and I told myself, Samba Banjul, go back to Banjul.
Back home to Banjul.
So North Korea, South Korea, or any of the Koreas,
Middle Korea.
yes, it will be tempting. If I have an engagement that is temporarily, it can be considered for the financial gains of it. Because in the end, those finances come back home again and contribute to home. For permanent, definitely no.
And opening it, do we see Harona Drammeh Institute of Media Training?
I love to do that.
Would you?
I love to do that. Either that or I will retire lecturing at the University of the Gambia. I love to do that. That's really me.
Really?
Yes. There's nothing that I will feel better at than lecturing at the UTG. I really want to do that. And if you watch my business, it's a university. It's a college.
So,
People come through Mediamatic for a year or two, transition, go somewhere else. The only thing is I don't give certificates in the end. So I like to continue that at a larger scale, and I believe UTG or this Institute of Training, we could develop our own separate from UTG. But yes, teaching is something I love to do, and I like it to be my last job before I say goodbye.
wow.
Yes.
I'm tempted to ask you who.
I'll be happy to die as a lecturer. Yeah, something I want, something I really want, actually.
I don't want to get into trouble by asking you who is your best mentee, because I know there are many. But I'm going to ask you to describe, as we end this chat, describe what is your composite persona of the kind of next-gen hybrid Peter Gomez, Harona Drammeh, Gambian media person that can really do this job. What 5, 6, 7 things are we looking for?
What we are looking for in the person is that dogged attitude of not giving up.
Okay.
the media, like teaching, like being a policeman, is not necessarily very rewarding. All these rubbers you talk about that I do is to be able to finance my radio because it's not generating that much revenue to sustain itself or the TV. It's not. Now, you need firstly a person who believes and choose this job to do it for a lifetime, richer and poorer in the end, and have a great marriage with the profession first. Secondly, be a person who's willing to learn, to know, but a person who's willing to share knowledge. In the end, our profession is very similar to teaching. Acquire it and pass it on. That's right. That's what we do. Now, also be a person who has great ethical considerations. In my position, which somebody else will have a different position, the question I ask myself for the most part, do I share the information that I have all the time? And damn the consequences. And I come to a conclusion to tell myself, the policeman must remain in my head to ultimately decide, sharing this information, what could be the potential consequences? Is it good for my country? Is it good for my people? Is it national security related? Is it? And my brand of journalism is in the amplification of positive, of good, of exposing Gambia and Gambians to the world. Yep. And for me, that's my brand of journalism. Yep. If I know a person is doing well, I make it my duty, my job, to toot the horn for that person so everybody hears their story, feel their joy, see their trial, their tribulations, and then know them from a distance. Because you're not going to, as Pastor Forbes, see everybody, be to every house. Now, if I have a microphone that can amplify that message, I want to use it positively so people can know, okay, so Pastor Forbes wasn't made overnight. Oh, he went, he did engineering, and he said, how come? This guy did not do this, did not do this. So young people can also understand that you can ultimately be who you are, but the foundation is great in the learning. Put structure. Do other things that matter. Having said all of that, in our profession, really, it's very easy to be carried away. Celebrity status and all of that. Remain grounded. Remain grounded. Be humble. I think
for every profession too.
Humility. Humility is everything.
Yeah, we have a verse in the Bible that says, God gives grace to the humble, but he opposes the proud. He just stands in front of you, do them fen. So be grounded.
And like Julius Caesar, thou art human.
That's right.
Whatever happens,
that's right.
You are nothing but human. Remember that. Wow. In the power and glory of the moment, in the money and influence of the world, sometimes we think we're semi-gods somewhere. But we are not. You're still human. Remember that. And how the mighty falls sometimes in the most dramatic and disgraceful manner.
All right, we wouldn't go there. We wouldn't go there.
Be human. Be human.
Well, wow. Okay, so he's sounding very formal and all that. Harona, what makes you laugh? And by the way, I know you as a good dad. I've seen pictures of you in restaurants here and there with the boys and all that. So you somehow make time for all that. That's great, Dad. You celebrate your wife. I love things like that. What makes you laugh?
I've laughed.
You joke a lot, I know that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And sometimes it puts me in trouble because when I'm serious, people miss it. They still assume I'm joking.
You're joking.
So, remember my King Kiliba days?
Yes.
So, I have this... I was one of the people on radio who would say the most crazy things. Yes. And so a few people told me to my face, we find it difficult to reconcile the King Kiliba man and the man who goes to our office. It's
Yes.
because I come to your office, you're talking Kinkiliba, but my mind is, for me, there's a stage, there's a performance, there's curtains that are drawn at the end. And
that compartment is over.
yes, and I'm very good at that. I'm really, really good at that. But sometimes people miss it. People just assume you're just...
but you laugh a lot. I like that.
Person.
And the boys, any of them picking up the microphone?
I don't know. Queen is trying with them today, but I understand one of them put the whole control room on the fire. And they're in trouble. I don't know how deep the trouble is. Maybe after this interview, I ascertain the trouble.
They're fine. Look, guys, you can come here. We do our own program, me and two of you. But really, it's a joy having you, Harona. And once again, I did this because I really also wanted to publicly say thank you. From 2020, I think it was February or March, and it's you pushed me. Believe me, we had, COVID was bad. So, churches were
for everyone, actually.
For everybody. So to be buying cameras of $120,000, I don't know. What did the pastor buy it, and start this? And you pushed, and then you forced us to do a 1-hour TV program on Paradise TV, and we did this and we did that. And I saw you also help me with TFA, with our branded poster boy and all that. And I'm really grateful. And I'm just saying thank you, and please don't leave us, because we want to go further until we are able to tell Gambians that tune to 96 point something and you'll hear us. And playlists, so many things going live. Interestingly, I got a message a few days ago that there was a conference and JAAMA FM had been asked to send a journalist. And I scrambled, could not find a journalist, but the time was short. But and I remember you telling me when we started paying for Voscast and we started seeing the metrics of nations that are listening to us, and I remember you making a comment that, Pastor, it will grow.
It will.
And it has been growing. Thank you so much. Thank you much, sir.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the man. I didn't do a journalistic thing. We chatted. That's my friend. And from my heart, he comes highly recommended. Harona, you want to do a radio, television station, you want to do, what do they call it, video podcast, or whatever you want to do, you want to
podcasting overall.
Podcasting. We because we had this vision, let me say this, we had spoken, made connections, we found this company, we had WhatsApp group calls, we tried to, cut corner here, flying things from Italy to London. They told us now they have to pay tax because UK has left
the EU
thing, so it was cheaper to get a truck and let the truck drive it. And we were on the verge of that, and I still cannot tell how I called you. And ladies and gentlemen, to my surprise, everything we needed to start the radio station was just less than 500 meters away from us. Brand new in boxes. I said, Harona, I keep these things as spares. I challenge them, Pastor. And I never forget that Saturday I was in my office, and you said, tune to this, you are on air. Thank you so much, Harona.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I hope I'm doing well.
You've done brilliantly well.
Good.
Yes.
14 over 10?
No, don't do it like my ustaz in high school. 110%. Ustaz really don't go this awet.
By the way, you didn't tell them where we came from, the Christian imam and the Muslim pastor.
That's for another time. We don't give them everything at once.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, and thank you, Mr. Drammeh. Thank you to Paradise TV staff, but so much for your selflessness. For that, I doff my cap, because I don't see that a lot. We like to hide, as you said, but you opened everything. You came here and you set it up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So this is Harona Drammeh. Please share, repost, reshare, and remember, close yourself in your office for 3 hours and read. It will be a win-win for you. JAAMA FM, shaping minds, transforming lives. Good night. Bye-bye.